Americans will keep supporting us financially and the way we want our armed troops for the future and our Afghan Air Force, of course.
Torek Farhadi is a former advisor to the Afghan government and joins us now live from Geneva. Very good to see you. The Afghan army has been trained and funded by the US for nearly 2 decades now, but they seem unable to deal with Taliban offences. What's going on?
Surely, there are 2 elements. One is that the US withdrawal happened much faster. It surprised everyone. President Biden had said the US would exit by September 11th, and actually most of the fighting forces of the US and NATO forces are already out of Afghanistan. So that's one element. The second element is that there is corruption in Kabul, and the soldiers in the field have not received their salaries for about 5 months. So they have lost a lot of inspiration to fight, and they have not been supplied. Logistically, Taliban have cut the communication roads. So we saw an image of the commandos. The commandos arrive by helicopter, but the roads to the far-fetched provinces are cut by the Taliban, so the army cannot supply ammunition and food, and that's why the soldiers surrender, or even they, as you saw, went to Tajikistan north. This worries the Russians as well, because when instability gets close to the Central Asian borders, it's a matter of worry for extremists going to the Central Asian republics. And Mr. Sergei Lavrov yesterday gave a warning to the Americans, actually, saying, you are not leaving in a responsible manner. Daesh is active in northern Afghanistan. The problem is that as the government tries to defend the big cities, Afghanistan might end up with ungoverned territories, neither by the Taliban, neither by the Afghan government, and nobody knows what happens there.
So what are your worst fears for the country? Because the Taliban are now taking control of areas where they didn't have a presence 20 years ago. What is going to happen in September when the rest of foreign troops leave Afghanistan?
If the Taliban approach the big cities, then the Afghan army is more equipped to defend, but that means bloody encounters. And it could also transform into a civil war, because people also will stand against the Taliban. The Taliban are known to be harsh, basically, to women. And in the big cities, people are not too much for the Taliban. In the rural areas, the government hadn't provided so many services. Soldiers were forgotten. The Taliban had ease in taking territory without too much of a fight. So, but the Taliban just announced 2 hours ago that next month they are going to give a peace plan, which is a written peace plan, which is something new. And there's hopes then that we have to see what will be in their peace plan. And of course, Kabul has to make concessions in order to save the country from chaos, basically. And
I was going to ask you about that peace plan. As you rightly point out, it's been reported that the Taliban are going to put forward a written peace plan to the Afghan government within a matter of weeks. Do you trust that peace process? Do you trust that something can come out of it which can produce stability in Afghanistan?
So far, the peace process has been really not a sincere peace process. Neither the Taliban, neither the government have really been sincere about making concessions. But now the situation is so dire that concessions are necessary. But here, Taliban want to give a peace plan when the government will be at its weakest and will have to accept the concessions. The Taliban will probably ask for the resignation of this government. They have said, their commanders repeatedly say that they are not ready to collaborate with this government. This government will have to resign, and the Taliban will have to propose if they want to reign Afghanistan or if they want to work with people who are independent but are not with this government. That could be a way to go, but then the Kabul government had to accept that.
Really good to get your thoughts there. Thank you for speaking with us. Torek Farhadi there, former advisor to the Afghan government.